We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Cameron Wake. Little throwback we got going on here. Shout out to James Foster, Knows Flags Film, for the clips. Very hard to find all 22 back in the day like this. Leave a like and all that good stuff. We're gonna get right into this. Wake, one of the just best stories during that time. Being a UDFA, dominating the CFL, and then coming to the NFL and just never looking back and being a truly elite player, elite edge rusher for Miami. He was the best player on that team during his era. It wasn't even really close. I don't even know who else the argument would be. And I think Wake is the perfect example of how you don't need to have a crazy pass rush bag to still be an elite rusher. Obviously, it can't help certain guys, but I think Wake was just an extremely good athlete, insane explosiveness, combined with really good power, and he just used the same two moves over and over again. You're gonna see pretty much every sack be two moves that he got really good at. And honestly, to relate this to Miami Dolphins of now, Chop Robinson and Wake actually have some similarities, their explosive power, the way they win. Chop doesn't win in a variety of ways either. If I was Chop, I'd be watching Wake film, because that's should be the goal that he's trying to reach. Just so fun to watch. Easily my favorite player to watch during that time period. He was truly, truly dominant. Just an absolute pleasure to watch go to work. Such a good first step. One of the best first steps you'll ever see. And then you'll see we'll go down into these two moves. I would say his first main move was the rip around the edge. And this is where I say he sort of mixed things up. Is sometimes he fire off the ball. If he didn't think this guy was going to get out into space in time, he would just fire off the ball and then rip underneath, win with bend around the edge. And he did a good job. He would do a pull rip. He would reach that hand and he would sell. This is why he combined his move. He would use a pull rip, and then he would also use a speed to power. So he would kind of shoot those hands he could go speed to power, and he would either turn it into the rip and then go down low, dip, rip, bend around the edge, or usually turn you to the inside. And usually how he would mix up his moves is the tempo. So he would use the same move at the end, but he would mix up his tempo, his footwork, the leverage he would attack, which is how he would kind of keep the offensive lineman off balance. Dip underneath there, get the ball. He also had a great feel and awareness to get the strips. Just a great example of it here. Another time just winning around the edges. This was I would say his main way of winning. The other moves were in there, but this is his signature move. The first step explosiveness, look how much faster he was off the ball than everyone else. Fire off there. Kind of show either sometimes he would get engaged with his hands, but kind of show his hands he might get engaged, get them to shoot, and then you dip and rip underneath, get that hand underneath that elbow of the outside hand of the offensive lineman, and then get the ball out. Just absolutely dominant work. And you can kind of see here's the other move kind of mix into it, mixing up the tempo, kind of attack the outside half. He sees that this guy gives up enough space, so he's ready to use a different move than his usual. He shoots those hands, gets low, looks like he could go for the same move that he usually does, show the hands and then dip and rip underneath. But he feels the overset, boom, turn him to the inside so you can get there and make that play. That was kind of his inside counter move, was using the speed to power, and Wake just perfected these two moves. Pretty much another example of him using speed to power, getting engaged quickly, gets a little bit of the hump action going on there. Because guys were he was so explosive. This is why this is such a good move to combine with it, because he's so explosive. That first step's so good, and he's able to win around the edge so effectively. These guys would give up the inside a lot, and he was so strong. He could move them out of the way if they gave him any sort of room, and he knocking that ball out again and again and again. Just absolutely phenomenal. Here's an example of him using the pull with the rip, getting around the edge. Always showing those hands, man. Shows the hands. This time he actually engages with that inside hand, pulls, and then still rips underneath. So it's a slight different variation of his go-to move. He had a couple different ways to do it, which is why you don't always he didn't need to have a spin move or winning with arm overs and all that, and maybe a cross chop, because he perfected two different moves and was so good at it. And he's just an elite athlete, super strong and powerful. He was never the biggest person either, but he was so strong, winning around the edge, boom, pull, kind of rip underneath, has the bend to get around the edge, and then awareness, go for the football, knock it out of Andrew Luck's hand there. Just constantly all over the film. Just an absolute pleasure to watch. And this is kind of what you're a fan nowadays. You're hoping this is what Chop turns into. Both from Penn State. Chop showed a lot of promise in the second half of his first season. You know, I mean, if he ever wants to reach Wake levels, he's still got a ways to go. But I think he's got super high potential and has already shown that like he's a damn good player. And they have similar like sort of athletic profiles, win in similar types of ways. Wade just constantly knocking that ball out, man. Winning around the edge. Look at the power, man. Look at the explosiveness and the power. He's constantly playing with good power. Look at him lift this guy up, torque this guy out the club. The balance too, like when you're in this position, you can see guys going to the ground. Look at him just completely upend this offensive lineman, throw him to the ground, and still get the hit on the quarterback. Absolutely insane. The dip rip around the edge. I actually wonder. I actually don't know the stat off the top of my head. I wonder who has the most. I wonder where he ranks on like most career sacks against Tom Brady. He's got to be up there for sure. Considering he played against him for a long while, and obviously we played him twice a season. He was probably the best pass rusher that got the most opportunities. And then here it is again. The get engaged, the push, pull, rip. That's definitely something he was very dominant at, and because they would be ready for speed to power, since speed to power is his other move. Since he was so explosive, get off the ball. They're now okay. He's engaged with me. They're expecting speed to power, and he pulls them forward. Boom, rip underneath. Absolutely great work from Wake. He gave so many offensive linemen trouble, winning around the edge like that, winning with speed to power, and even this this guy gets out of his stance pretty good. The right tackle, kind of takes away that inside. Wake kind of identifies usually here Wake might try to take that inside half, but he kind of, look at him. One, he's pointing to this being a potential screen, to the opposite side. He knows this is what is happening. He's pointing it out. He sees this right guard's kind of peeking to the side, so he's not going to take the inside angle. He's going to go around, and they kind of take away the initial screen, and he gets the sack, knocks the ball out of the hands of Mayfield there. Here versus Mariota. Man, he was giving Mariota hell in this game. That's a few different times. I'll have to look up after this game who had the most sacks on Brady. Obviously not a sack here, but using speed to power, boom, attack the outside half of the right tackle. Get him to, open up the space. Now you create pushback vertically, which will then open up even more space to work to the inside. Look at him using full extension, extend the arms, the hands. Extend with the hips too, power, and then get a really clean hit there on Brady. This is probably the cleanest you'll see his move. One, the explosiveness, really good first step, and then look how clean this is, where he gets engaged so fast. He gets engaged with that inside hand, and he's already able to pull and rip underneath. That's where he is able to just chain the moves together. He doesn't even really pull. He's just putting that hand on him like he's going to pull, but he's not there long enough to really get a pull, and he's able to just dip, rip underneath, get after the quarterback. And honestly, I'm pretty sure I called this Mayfield earlier. That's not Mayfield. I don't know why. Because I saw 6 on the Browns, but I believe that time came afterwards. He maybe could have towards the end of his career. But yeah, just Wake constantly dominant with these reps, man. Look at the way that he was able to win with so much athleticism, but then able to just do this to an offensive lineman also consistently with power. Great hand placement too. He was a technician in the stuff he could do well. And look how low he would get to. Being able to maintain this much power while getting this low is so impressive. Just such a delightful player to watch back in his prime. And his prime lasted a long time because he did start his career late compared to most people, because he did, was at the CFL, and he lasted a long, long while. Easily, probably still, honestly, the best Dolphins player. He for how long he did it, probably the best Dolphins player in the last 15 years still to this day. There's probably some people in Miami that could maybe challenge it, but they'd have to do it for as long as Wake did it. And it's just constant stuff. So, shout out Cameron Wake. Just wanted to give him some recognition in this sort of, lull part of the offseason. And it still kind of relates to nowadays with what you see from Chop, because there's some similarities there. Chop, you ever see this? Doubt you will, but turn on some Cameron Wake film. I think you can learn some good stuff from that, because I do see some similarities between your games. And it can only, help you out. Maybe you already are doing it, because, shout out Chop Robinson too. So, if you guys are new, comment and subscribe.